Welcome back to the channel. So recently I uploaded my review of Berny's JLC Polaris Homage, and the brand were really happy with the review and the response and all that stuff. So they offered me the chance to make my own watch. They must have known that I had kind of a big influence. Guilty. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Now I'm flattered really, because Berny have obviously seen what I'm doing on the channel. They've thought, yes please, we'll have some of that. And they've custom built a watch especially for me. No one else can get one of these. If you go to the Berny website, it's berny.com. Page loading. So you will not see an option for a custom made watch. Unless, no, they've had customization. No, they've added it in. It wasn't there before. They've added it in. And so anyone can, well that's annoying, because then it's not just for me. But I thought it was because of the whole, the YouTube, the big follower influencer. It's not because of that. They just want to promote their own. No, it makes sense now. It makes sense, I'm not bothered. Good. Better for me, really. Everyone can do it. Everyone, why not? Why not? Who cares? Yeah, just let anyone make a bloody watch, for God's sake. Welcome back to the channel, I'm Pip, and if you haven't done so already, can you please do me a huge favour and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like the video, and also, it's annoying, but hit the bell to be notified every time I upload. All of those things really do help out the channel tremendously. Now, if you've ever wanted to design your own watch, I'm telling you, you can do it. You don't need no fancy software or 3D printer. You just need a brain and some original ideas, or in my case, just a brain. Don't really need anything. That's what I've done with the help of Berny. They sent me this custom watch for free and I don't have to send it back, hence the paid promotion tag in the corner. This watch will still be scored on the 4 key categories as always, and the subcategories therein, and I'll be awarding bonus points for that elusive watch magic, the qualities and flourishes that make a watch more than just the specs on paper. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's first address the elephant in the room. This isn't exactly a crazy new design. I've taken one of the watches that I love, the Rolex Yachtmaster reference 126622, and I've switched out that watch's grey silver dial for an enamel black one. Let's take a look at the specs. We have a 40.5mm case, but it's actually 41mm basically, because it's 41 from one edge of the bezel to the other. The lug to lug is 48mm. Anything under 50 for me is just about right on my 6.5 inch wrist. The 20mm lugs mean that if you've got straps and NATOs and whatever else knocking around, it's a standard size, it's even, it'll fit, and it won't be an awkward 19 or 21mm strap that you need. Those 20mm lugs taper down to 16 and then back up to 18mm at the clasp, and it feels pretty nicely balanced weight-wise, coming in at 151 grams. The 13mm thickness includes the flat sapphire crystal. The 6mm screw down crown, just like your dad after the divorce, is guarded and almost too easy to manipulate, so it's not too tricky to screw and unscrew, probably why your mum left him. That and a lack of any real depth. No chance of that here though. It's rated to 200 meters water resistant wise, but truth be told, I wouldn't test that 200 meter depth rating on this watch. I would however happily take it in the pool. There's a 90 click unidirectional bezel and it's extremely light, like a stiff breeze will nudge this thing along. The movement though is a bit of a curveball because it's the lesser used, no, of course it's not. It's the Seiko NH35, stupid. And I'm starting to accumulate so many watches with this movement that I think I might be legally classed as a distributor. It's running at around -2 seconds per day though, so there's a little bit of beat error, but nothing really to be sniffed at for this price.
All of those specs are pretty much budget, bog standard Rolex Homage territory.
But you don't have to make just a standard Rolex Homage. You could have a GMT model with snowflake hands and a resin 24-hour bezel insert with a yellow GMT hour hand. Or you could exercise some restraint and make something a lot more tasteful. But it's completely up to you. It needn't be the standard oyster style case either, of course. Take a Swiss railway design and switch it up, or a compressor style diver. Either way, the part that will have most of us excited and have you relearning how to use Microsoft Paint is the custom text and logos. All you basically have to do is create a PNG file or a JPEG or whatever, and you send it over to Berny, and they'll send you some renders once it's done, and then you can approve or ask them to change it.
If you've ever thought, I really like this watch, but I wish it didn't have the 3 lines of text on the dial. Then this is the sort of pedantic micromanagement that's going to be right up your street, and that I'm sure makes you really popular around the office.
I went for the very indulgent 3 lines of text beneath the pinion at 6 o'clock. We'll get to the logo soon, but this text is very much inspired by Rolex and Tudor, even the Omega Seamaster Professional 300, and also my recently acquired Seiko SPB213J1. Please subscribe so you don't miss the review of that when it drops. Oh, and a Rolex review for that matter. The text itself can say whatever you like, really. I didn't ask Bernie if there were any rules about what can or can't be printed on the dial, but on their website it just says that it must be, and I quote, reasonable.
For example, you can't ask them to put the price of your weekly shop or your energy bill on there. As I say, it has to be reasonable. But you can ask them to put, your own little logo, your own little silly design on there. No, I will say it. No, because I'm annoyed now.
And that's just what I did. So under the triangle at 12, you can kind of see a new version of my channel logo with the Lume triangle above the text. So it looks like some of the logos of those other brands, in particular the Tudor logo, swapping out their shield for my Lume triangle and the word automatic for Genève. I could have used my standard logo that's on my YouTube channel now, but the Lume triangle on that version would have been off center. Sadly, it's been printed ever so slightly to the right anyway. That's part of, luckily, only a few gripes that I have with this, but let's talk other custom elements first. So it's not just the dial, but also the caseback, crown and clasp that I've customized here. Each additional customization costs $5.
A signed clasp, $5. A signed caseback, $5. If you're thinking,
$5, get out of here.
I'd actually say that represents pretty good value for money.
For $15 total, you make sure that the watch isn't just kind of sterile. So the glide lock style clasp has the Lume pip logo nicely lasered in. The crown has what was intended to be a Lume pip, but I'll admit that's a design oversight on my part. It doesn't immediately strike you as a Lume pip, but more just a circle or the letter O, as in, oh, I should have thought about this more. The closed caseback has the logo too, plus some custom text that I requested. Yeah, take note Seiko, 6,000 units does not constitute a limited edition. One unit with a logo that less than 1% of the world's population would sort of maybe recognise. Now that is limited. It's really nicely done, there's no sharpness, and it looks as just a part of the caseback as the spec list that's there as standard. Finishing elsewhere overall is just okay, it's perfectly acceptable. It's not as good as San Martin, but it's not so bad that I can't wear it. In fact, I've had it on quite a lot. It has that glide lock style on the fly adjustable clasp, but you really have to push it down to lock it in place. Plus, I have it set at the tightest setting, and I really could do with being able to remove one more link. It's a minor gripe for me, but if your wrist is smaller than mine, then it mightn't be so minor, so please do bear that in mind. The head of the watch just has the polished flanks and a pretty dull brush elsewhere, which is fine for me. It matches the bracelet and it does look uniform. Also, there's no sharpness save for the clasp, which does have a couple of pointy corners. If it's a watch that you're going to wear a lot, you could always get these sorted by a watchmaker, but at this price, it's not really a big issue.
Speaking of price, what would a watch done to these specifications actually cost?
Just the custom watch with the extra $15 for the signed elements is $165 or about 135 quid. I have the blue limited edition text below the pinion, and to add additional colours it's $30. That takes the total cost of the watch that I've had done here to $195. Even with the bog standard 1-year warranty, I think that's a pretty solid price. Remove the coloured dial text and at $165 you get a Seiko powered automatic watch that, on the details at least, won't look like anything else out there. Okay, the bracelet tolerances are a bit rattly, the finishing is dull but not bad, and the bezel action is light, but this is a piece that I know I'm not going to see anywhere else. Let's have a listen to that bezel action now, by the way. Yeah, 90 clicks, not my favourite, I'll admit, but it's fine and it all lines up. There are a couple of other things that I've not really praised yet either. Looking at the finishing on the dial and hands, okay, it's a bit of dust, especially on the indice at 9, but it's nothing that you'd notice with the naked eye when you're not looking at it under a macro lens. The dial though, the enamel dial, it really gets to shine thanks to this crystal. It's a flat sapphire crystal like I mentioned earlier, but the AR coating does an amazing job, as does the Cyclops.
I've seen more shitty Cyclopses than Odysseus, but this is not one of them.
It magnifies the date by at least 2.5 times. And the Lume has no right to be this good. It doesn't last forever, and the hands and indices seem to be two clearly different tones. What are we supposed to believe, that this is some kind of magic Lume formula? Boy, I really hope someone got fired for that blunder.
Okay, it's not ideal, but at least it's still legible. In fact, I can almost see this Lume too well.
You see, even in the daylight, the hands and indices are kind of a fluorescent limey white. I'd prefer them stark white in the daytime and then limey Lume in the dark. Again, it's all minor stuff.
So let's take all that stuff into consideration and give the watch a score.
Okay, so not much original here, but I don't care. I designed the logo and the dial text, so it's getting the good scores. The Seiko NH35 definitely can't be considered original, but it can be deemed reliable and, crucially, cheap to service or just replace when the time comes. The price is solid, but the warranty is lacking. Berny might not be a mega brand, but it's not really their name on the dial anyway, so you can kind of put your own number on the brand cachet. Finishing is just fine, it's a comfortable enough watch at the price, and the AR coating really helps show off the enamel dial. The Lume is bright, but to borrow a football cliche, they've almost hit the Lume too well. As I said to a friend of mine on a stag do, you don't want to go green before you've reached the nighttime. Overall, a very respectable 7 out of 10.
So what do you think of my design? Or rather, Rolex's design with my logo. And would you get one of your own done? Well, you can. The affiliate link is in the description below, and you can get 10% off by using discount code LUMEPIP at the checkout. Let me know your thoughts by dropping a comment below, and please do like, subscribe, and hit the bell, as all of that stuff really does help out the channel. Also, I'm on Instagram at Lume_pip, so why not give me a follow on there too. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.